Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and we are here talking about Wealth Wednesday, and we know that our health and our mental health is very important for sure. So Michael Dash is in the house. He's a best-selling author of Chasing the High. He's founder of From Addiction to Entrepreneurship.
From Addict to Entrepreneur.
I'm sorry. Yep. So tell us about your journey. Tell us a little bit about what that means exactly.
Sure. So I decided to write the book Chasing the High after years of addiction and entrepreneurship. I was introduced to gambling at 11 years old by my uncle at Thanksgiving dinner. Always a great time.
Thanks, Uncle.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Uncle.
You.
Appreciate you. You're the man. And he was the creepy uncle, too.
Oh, yeah.
And that started a 20-year gambling addiction for me.
Wow.
Everywhere I grew up back east in New Jersey. My father was an entrepreneur. I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I was working for him in his warehouses and everything, and all the guys back there gambled.
So what is it? We talk a lot about, of course, you hear about alcoholics or drug addicts. I mean, we know there's a lot of gambaholics. What is that like? When did you know you're like, this is a problem?
So I think subconsciously you know, but you don't move it from your subconscious to your conscious state. So you're never really actually dealing with it. You're just kind of in the moment. And, you know, I'm continually chasing that high, which, you know, obviously is the title of the book. So with a lot of people, one addiction leads to another addiction. And that's what happened with me. You know, sales, for instance, was every time I closed a sale, I would get a high. Like I would feel like this, like adrenaline rush, as if I was actually making a bet. And as I continued to go on through life, and you know, I went to college and everything, I started experimenting with drugs also. So it went from gambling, and then that high wasn't high enough. So then it started in with cocaine. And gambling and cocaine I used hand in hand when I was in New York City and I was building my career and everything. Cocaine was everywhere. And I was like, yeah, sure. And, you know, I kept trying it. And all of a sudden, you're in the midst of it and you're up at 4 in the morning doing cocaine alone in your house, gambling online.
That's when you know. You're like, well, this maybe it's an issue.
I might need to change something. Yeah. And, you know, that's the journey that I went through.
But what do you think, like entrepreneurship, people are addicted to workaholics? I mean, is there a difference? Where's that distinction for you now?
There's a difference. I don't think anything to that extreme is healthy. At some point, you're going to break down. You know, some of the things that I talk about in the book are the habit of habit making and making sure that you build strong habits around yourself. And as you continue to evolve as a human, because we all want to evolve and grow, all those habits aren't going to remain the same. So you have to continually tap into your curiosity, try new things, and see what resonates with you, and then interchange old habits with new habits, but obviously keep them healthy. If you're working 20 hours a day, if you're working 14 hours a day, you're going to burn out.
Yeah.
And so there definitely, I'm not a person who believes in fulfillment per se. Balance per se. I believe in fulfillment, right?
Right, yeah.
You could just cut that, edit that. So my definition of fulfillment is we all have these buckets in our lives, right? We have our health bucket, we have our relationship bucket, our family bucket, our, you know, entertainment bucket, and our entrepreneurship business bucket. And if you can fill all of those buckets up, let's say 50%, then that will lead to a fulfilled life.
I agree.
And that's kind of how I like to approach it.
Beautifully said. I love that. And I love the point about sort of, you know, creating healthy habits. So what are the healthy habits now that you've adopted and apply like consistently to your life?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned before, I'm from back east, and back east, you're just taught like any of this woo-woo stuff is like it's ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm a paradox in life. I used to make fun of people in LA. I'm like, they don't work hard in California. I'm like, they don't work hard. They don't do this. They don't do that. And now I'm one of them, and I love it. Right. And one of the things that I really discovered was flow and living in flow and understanding it's basically a premise of making decisions by following your intuition and with your heart versus your head. And if it's not a hell yes in life, it should be an F no.
That's like done,
I feel like that's my new Instagram bio.
That's it. I agree.
Yes.
Totally agree.
So I used to be able to be convinced into doing all these different things that I really didn't want to do. And at the end of the day, the next day I'd wake up and I'm like, yeah, I know you were talking about that before. Yeah. I would wake up and I'm like, you know, I just wasted that whole night. I wasn't really enjoying myself, but I did it because somebody said, hey, let's go do this. So I really try to adopt that premise. And So flow, I put into my life things like meditation. Like I am a huge fan of sound baths.
Oh yeah,
I love
serious.
sound baths. They're amazing.
Okay, so now that you went from New York to very woo-woo la-la land, what do you say to those New York guys, those New York men and women who might think that is just too LA?
Yeah, so what I say to them is just because people around you don't resonate with something doesn't mean you won't, okay? Don't form an opinion on something you've never tried. That's what I used to do. People around me thought things were woo-woo, like people that taught astrology or energy or flow or
sound baths,
sound baths or any of this meditation, even yoga, any of that stuff. Like I was just like, I had an opinion, but it wasn't because I tried it and it didn't resonate with me. It was because I just heard the noise, right? Yes. I bought into the noise. So I'm a big proponent of tapping into your curiosity. Try things out, and if they resonate with you, then incorporate them in their lives. Not everything is going to resonate with everyone. You know, we're all different people.
Well, and isn't that the definition of ignorance, for somebody to make an opinion before they don't understand it? It's really fascinating when I hear people have such an opinion about something that they really don't know, they haven't experienced it.
Yeah, it's true.
It's fascinating.
100%. And it's, I think, our egos that stand in the way. And for me, I was extremely arrogant, egotistical person for the majority of my life. And I ran my company this way too. I really didn't run my company from a place of empathy and teaching. I ran my company from a place of correction and criticism.
Yeah, like command and control style.
And I was also, just wanted to add, I was also driven by this Adderall addiction that I had at the time.
Yeah.
So I moved through gambling and cocaine and then went to Adderall, and Adderall is prevalent everywhere in the entrepreneurship community. And that's really why I wanted to start this program, Fate, From Addict to Entrepreneur, to work with entrepreneurs who are dealing with addictive and compulsive behaviors that are affecting them as leaders, as family members, and as friends.
So where can people find more information about Fate?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, michaelg-.com. July 1st, I'm going to be having a webinar to explain everything that Fate's about, and then we're going to kick off the program. And my goal is to positively affect change in 1 million entrepreneurs within the next 5 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
and
incredible.
They can also find Chasing the High, where a lot of the things we just talked about are incorporated in that book. I think there's some real tangible things people can, bring into their lives.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for all
so
your
Thank you. I
work.
appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Good Morning La La Land.